on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files. I'm your host, Nick, joined by Allie and...
Patricia.
Amanda? I'm just going to keep this joke going on forever. Also,
this is going to be like Chrissy finding a new job. Like every episode, Amanda has a different name.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know, if you don't listen to our Ask Nick episodes, first of all, missing out. Second of all, Amanda made a joke about me not remembering her name. I remember her name.
Allegedly. Are you someone who's very good at learning names, Nick? Like, are you good about because I sometimes when people introduce themselves, I black out when I should be listening to their name. Yeah. And then it's terrible.
Well, what it is I've also gotten worse with facial recognition. And because I'm like a A-list celebrity, I think it's...
Sorry. Did I laugh too loud at that?
You didn't mean to belly laugh?
Did I laugh too loud at that?
It was an appropriate laugh. It was meant to be a joke.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried if you like awkwardly stayed in silence, being like, "Oh, he doesn't know."
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey Nick, can we chat after?
But I do think being on the show and having people come up to you has made it worse for me because I'm very aware of my surroundings and therefore less present about the people in front of me and therefore have gotten worse at remembering faces.
Totally.
I'm also the type of person where unless I actually get to know you and meet you, I don't necessarily remember meeting you or remember being in the same room as you. Like, I have friends who are like, oh, you were 2 tables over from me for Northwestern orientation. And I'm like, but I would have no idea that was you because I didn't know you at that time. I'm until we have some memories and rapport, I'm not going to place you in my old memories.
Yeah. Also, when someone meets you, doesn't mean you're going to remember them. And you're just like, there's nothing worse than we've met. I've met you before.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What's anything new in your ladies' lives?
I'm planning my sister's bachelorette party, which is going well. And
there's
apparently,
Nick's
Nick's seen my spreadsheet and it's going so well that my future brother-in-law has now enlisted me to plan his bachelor party because his best man has not stood up to the plate.
The curse of efficiency.
So I will be planning both parties.
Have you, since we talked to your sister about what she wants? Because at the time you're like... I was like, oh, you had all these questions about what you should do. And I was like, oh, what is your sister, whose party it is for, would like? And she's like, well, I didn't ask her. It's like, it's not a fucking prize party. It's a bachelorette party.
I asked her.
I don't get why people are obsessed with fucking surprises when it comes. It's just anyway. Have you since asked?
I started out and I was like, hey, I just want to know how involved do you want to be? Because this woman's a doctor. She works crazy hours. So I'm not trying to add to her plate. And I was
what are your likes and dislikes? What are your things you don't want to have?
So,
what's one thing you want to make sure happens?
More so do you want to pick the Airbnb? Do you want to at what point is it more stressful to know or not know or be involved, not be involved? And we've had several long phone calls. It's now down to Dallas versus San Antonio. We're breaking down people's flights. We found Airbnbs in both, so evaluating how far that is from the airport. I did ask her how she feels about strippers. She feels like she's just going to be really awkward in that scenario, so we're going to avoid that. I have some other ideas in mind of what to do, but she listens to the show, so I can't say too much.
Have you partaken in male stripping? Have you been a patron of a male stripper?
I've not been a patron. I've just experienced the kind of go-go dancer dudes in WeHo, but that's not really stripping.
That's not stripping.
That's the closest I've been. I did learn how to pole dance from a guy friend of mine in high school. We went to a playground and he taught me how to pole dance.
I went to a gay bar with Brad Goreski on more than one occasion, but there was one of the go-go dancers who I was surprised because he was a terrible dancer, which is why I noticed him. And I couldn't take my eyes off of him because it was how do you dance off beat? And a week later, he was my barista in Brentwood. And it was
you're I know your secret.
I know. Yeah, that's pretty great.
So what you're saying is you don't struggle with facial recognition when it comes to your strippers?
No, it's body recognition.
It's 100% accurate.
Oh, if I notice you, it was just so offbeat. And then he was like, would you cream in that? And I was like, yeah, some half and half.
Ew.
That was at the coffee shop.
I know.
That was a good joke.
Yeah, that was
good.
That was a good joke.
Thanks.
Good execution. Yeah. So my car has been in dire need of a wash for a very long time. This is my first time ever really having a car. Some things I'm still adjusting to with upkeep. And I went out to my car earlier this week, and there was a sticker in the windshield that said junk car disposal and like a business card for how to do it. And I looked, and none of the other cars around me had it. So my car was like
someone told you to give up.
Someone saw my car and was like, that's a junk car. I'm going to hook them up with a junk car.
Your car's fine.
It's like, okay, it's dirty right
now.
Says
the guy who pays you. Yeah. You don't need more money.
It's like, yeah, like my car looks like poverty wages, but I swear.
I've seen worse. It's like Allie's. No, I'm just kidding.
Excuse me.
Your car's also totally fine. You got a nice car.
My car is more than fine, thank you. I take a lot of pride in it.
I went suit shopping last night was going to be Ben Higgins' wedding, which will be this weekend for the people listening to this episode. Tune into my Instagram. My engagement was through the roof during Ashley and Jared's wedding. I'm hoping for the same
spike.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
Are you a groomsman?
No.
Oh, my dad asked, and I wasn't sure how to.
Your dad asked?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, is your boss a groomsman? And
well, no, because I was like, do you guys want to like meet up in Denver next weekend? Nick is going to a wedding. And then I was like, oh, it's the same. He was at the bachelor party when we were at Laura's bachelorette party, whatever. Because they knew you were at his bachelor party when we were celebrating. And my dad was like, how close are they? How close are the people in the franchise? Is he a groomsman? And I was like, well, he was Jared's groomsman, but I can ask.
Ben's groomsmen are his close, like high school and college friends. I don't believe any bachelor people are. I hope not, because I'll be pissed.
Can you imagine the betrayal?
Show up, Dean is like standing up.
Well, it's been a while since I've been to a wedding. COVID, there hasn't been reasons to wear suits or dress up lately. And so I took this opportunity to really go for it.
So does Natalie dress with you in this example? You're like, babe, this is what I'm wearing, and she has to coordinate?
No.
Okay.
Interesting enough, she had already picked out a dress.
And they go together?
Ish, yeah.
Okay.
They don't not. Like, we're not like matchy-matchy.
We don't need to like go to prom.
Like, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, this isn't prom. This isn't matchy-matchy. She's going to look incredible. We'll look colorful. It's like a navy. There's some pinstripe in there. Ooh. It's a dark navy, and I think hers is like a shade of green. So there's some color in there. And it's a Nashville wedding, so like I don't know if and it's not like black tie. Because I called Ben, I was like, is this like black tie? I don't like, and he said his fiance calls it cocktail casual.
Oh.
So
we both went like, we were both like, it was negative.
And he's like, I think every guy's wearing a suit. And I said, well, I'm going to be the best dressed person there. Because I haven't been to a wedding in a while. I'm going.
Imagine you on your wedding day. Should that happen, you were gonna be balling.
Should that happen, Allie?
I didn't want to put pressure on him.
I'll probably just go
classic
black, like a tuxedo. Yeah, yeah.
With a cummerbund though.
It'll look good. Anyway, I'm excited to showcase it. Tune into the gram. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really went for it. And I felt a little guilty after spending it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I haven't bought a suit in 4 years.
And if it makes you happy, like, worth it.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a really fantastic episode for you. GloZell is with us. Many of you know her. Some of you don't. And if you don't, you are welcome.
And even if you do, I don't think you do. I thought I knew her.
Really?
And I'd seen the Cinnamon Challenge, knew her as this like larger than life comedic YouTube presence. And then in this conversation, you guys talk about IVF. You guys talk about like attachment to stuff and hoarding. Like you guys really got, she's very fun and funny as you would expect, but you guys also got deep.
Shrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a little honest about my life in this episode. We have a fantastic episode for you. Really excited for you to listen to GloZell in our conversation. Also, check out our new introvert line. If you find yourself to be an introvert and not seen, and you want a t-shirt to tell everyone around you how to interact with you, just check us out.
Dare I say, even if you're not an introvert, great holiday gift.
Great holiday
for the introverts
in your life. It's the greatest. It's the greatest gift. If you want to give a gift, is to have someone finally be seen. Check us out. on viallfiles.com, the introvert line, we're calling it. Don't forget to send your questions at asknick@castmedia.com. If you're tuning in to hear GloZell, welcome. We have some great, we're doing some great things. If you are finding yourself in a struggling situationship, relationship, and like to hear how you might be able to more honestly interpret your situation, check us out on Mondays. We dissect people's problems, offer advice. People find it helpful, and we appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe, tell your friends. If there's anything else, let's get to GloZell. GloZell, welcome.
Hello. Have we started like action?
Sure, yeah.
Hello, this is GloZell. Is you okay? Is you good? Because I want to know. I'm here with someone that's on my mug.
Is you okay?
Yeah,
I think I'm okay.
Is you okay?
I'm okay.
Are you?
Sometimes.
I'm not feeling like you like the ultimate okay. Like, are you busy? Are you running around or
I've
something?
never been the ultimate okay. Have you?
Yes, I am. This always shining. This is how I wake up. Yeah. You know. Well, I don't quite wake up like this because my wig is like on the floor. But otherwise, that I'm kind of personality wise.
Always.
Yes, always. It
Very
is the number one thing that drives people crazy.
You think it drives people crazy?
Yeah, you know, I know we're going to talk about relationships, but the thing that you love about somebody.
Whatever you want, GloZell.
Thank you. The thing that you love about someone is also the thing that will eventually make you crazy about them.
I think you've been reading my mind this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because your bed is facing the right way. We've been talking about this feng shui bedroom.
This feels very like because one thing I talked to my Darlene, my therapist this week.
Okay.
And something I've thought a lot about.
I'm so glad you go to a therapist. You think that cute, hot people just don't have issues, you know? Like,
we do.
But y'all have like different issues. Like, oh my goodness, they didn't write my name correctly on my Starbucks cup. Like, but now.
It's a lot of self-pity for sure.
Now I got a problem with it. A problem is a problem.
Yeah. One thing I've thought about a lot recently, and I've talked with Darlene, is, and a question I have for you.
Okay.
Is, especially in a world where we talk a lot about self-acceptance, you know, loving yourself for who you are, simultaneously talking about like working on yourself. And the fine line between accepting who you are. As we get older, you get more comfortable. If like, fuck it, this is me. I don't know. Like like this is what I do.
Well, that's easier for a guy. Because I can say the same thing, but here, pass me the Spanx and let me suck this up and let me get the right wig. And yes, I accept myself with all these wonderful things that I'm doing.
Yeah. And maybe it's easier for guys. I don't know. But
maybe it is.
Even in relationships, like you said, I've said that too. You're right. Like it's always a thing that's just like, oh, I love that about you. It's so charming. You're just like, just wait.
Right. Just wait.
What is something about yourself that you have learned to accept about yourself that you know that either A, you don't necessarily love, or you might be insecure about how other people see that quality? And then what's something that you continue to work on because you choose to accept that being a quality that you just say, deal with it, this is me?
Okay, thank you for that 5-question. You know, so I'm like, what was the first one? Because that's one thing that my attention span is like a gnat. I'm like, what? So something that we were talking about my personality, and that is something that is good, and it's something that drives people crazy also. Just so you know, I have a boyfriend of 2 years, but I just got a divorce Wednesday. So my husband just didn't like my boyfriend. I'm like, what's going on here? But so I've been in this thing about relationships, and I am trying to discover what went wrong there because I don't want to do it again with the relationship I'm in. However, I'm still the same person, and eventually this wears everybody down. Like, how you doing? Like, this is all the time, you know, so.
And how much do you
self-reflect on that? Like,
how much,
I want to reprove?
When you meet people, like your boyfriend, you're just like, hey.
I tell them, like, it might, and also I sound not authentic when I'm like, I hope you have a great day. You know, like, yeah, sure, right. Because I'm always like, you know, as opposed to, you know what? It really feels like I hope that you have a wonderful day. Like, no, I'm Disney all the time. So
do you like that about yourself, or does it ever bother you?
You know, I'm just starting to realize it could be me because, you know, I'm going on hopefully my fourth husband. So I'm just like, okay, maybe It might be me. It takes a while for you to realize, because I'm like, who doesn't like a happy person? Who, the sun is shining, da 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 da. So maybe I need to, what's her name? Mandy? What's your girl name?
Natalie.
No, the one that you go to the therapist.
Oh, Darlene?
Yeah, I might have to see Darlene about a few things.
Do you go to therapy?
I have a therapist, Joe, and so, hi, Joe. He's really nice. I probably need to call him. You just bring that out of people. I'm like, yes, I'm self-reflecting here. But I noticed like your shoulders gone up, they're gone down now. I feel like we're friends.
I fidget.
Yeah, because now you're cool. Now you just chill.
It takes me a while to warm up.
Yes. Okay.
I think it's my introverted side.
See, I feel like I'm making up for my introverted side because I am an introvert, but no one believes me.
Interesting.
Like, let's say you like, oh, I'm going to this party. There's a lot of celebrities there. Okay, let me go. I take my pictures. I want to go home. I'm not trying to just mingle and be all up in there. I want to be invited, but I don't want to go.
Ritual, you love them, you know them. They're the company that takes the time to put healthy and safe ingredients and let you know what is in their ingredients so you know what you're putting in your body. That's right, because that's important. And even if it's protein powder or vitamins, people just assume that stuff is naturally good for you. It would be an honest assumption to make, but certainly not a safe one, because what happens when we assume. Because unfortunately, people put a lot of crappy, unsafe, unhealthy things into their vitamins and to their protein powders, but not Ritual, because their team of scientists from Harvard reimagined protein and vitamins from the ground up and inside out, and how it's made and who it's for and why it's needed. So whether it's vitamin, whether it's protein powder, they're making specific products for specific people, and you're getting the most out of Ritual. As far as their protein powder goes, the results is delicious plant-based protein offered in 3 premium formulations for distinct life stages and unique nutrient needs, all made with the same high standards and approach to commitment to traceability that Ritual is known for. Whether you're doing reps or you're more of into dog walks, Ritual is giving you the protein that you need. It's also just tastes great, by the way, easy to mix, which is nice. No one likes that clunky protein. Clean, plant-based formula specifically created to support nutrient needs of different life stages, 18 plus, pregnancy and postpartum, and plus 50. 20 grams of pea protein plus a complete amino acid profile. They have delicious handcrafted vanilla flavor made with direct from farmer vanilla bean extract sustainably harvested in Madagascar. Ooh, get your protein powder from Madagascar. Yummy. In terms of standards, their peas are sustainably grown and rejuvenatedly farmed right here in the good old US of A. Like I said, their protein powder it tastes great. It's easy to mix. I use Ritual to take my protein and get my needs, and I'm a active guy who pumps iron. So, just trying to, it seems to work for me. And also, I just like that peace of mind of knowing it's safe and good for me. Shake up your Ritual to make trying something new less scary. Ritual offers a money-back guaranteed, and if you're not 100% in love, plus my listeners get 10% off during your first 3 months. Just visit ritual.com/VIALL to add essential protein today. That's ritual.com/VIALL. Huzzah! That's right. Get that probiotic in your body, all while refreshing your taste buds. Everyone loves a tasty drink, whether you're by yourself or with friends, and Huzzah's got you covered. Also, with Huzzah, you're taking care of your gut health. And when your gut health, it's like your second brain. Helps with your skin, your immune system, just your overall wellness. For you, the best part about Huzzah, in addition to adding probiotics into their drink, is that all Huzzah drinks are 3 grams of sugar or less. Amazing. I mean, if 3 isn't low enough, some of them have even less. Raspberry lemon, strawberry hibiscus, juicy pear, all delicious flavors. My personal favorite is the raspberry lemon. So it's great tasting, it's fun, it's delicious, and it improves your gut health. You get around among friends, everyone's like, you're serving delicious drinks, and you're like, hey, by the way, you're taking care of your gut health? They're like, really? And they're so thankful. They're like, you become a hit of any party or gathering you're at when you're serving Huzzah Probiotic. Get ready to fill your fridge by stocking up on Huzzah Probiotic Seltzer by using code VIALL for 20% off your order at drinkhuzzah.com. That's code VIALL for 20% off at drinkhuzzah.com. I relate to that.
So I'm like, I want to be invited. I want to be, popular, whatever. But I don't want to.
So when you go out and you're giving out all this excited energy.
Yes, I'll be at Pride Saturday. Yes, in Arizona. Mm-hmm.
Is that something that comes naturally, or is that something, was that always your personality, or something that, as an introvert, that you would go out and say, I'm going to maximize the moments I have because then I'm eventually go home? Because that's sometimes I struggle with that. I will literally be out sometime and I'll feel like my introverted self. And I like to party. I like going out. I like being social at times. But if I'm not like mentally prepared for it, like I will be in a room of people wishing I could be likable and cool, and I don't sometimes know how to do it, and I really struggle with like wishing I was a different person in that moment, and I'm wondering is that where that came from, and how do you do that?
Oh my gosh, I've been in that situation so many times, and then it's like, oh, GloZell's, because even though I'm like this, there's times where you just like, I just want to stand in the corner because I've got to do this. I got to be here a certain amount of time. Blah blah blah. I have to wait to go on the red carpet. But I went to school with the same group of people from kindergarten to 12th grade. Mm-hmm. So I think that might have something to do with it because you're used to those people. You're used to those families. You're used to, everybody's mom, dad, and everything. And then after 12th grade, there's a whole world of new different people. And you're like, oh man, I've been in this shelter for so long. And people know me from YouTube. And they're like, oh, she's so funny and she's so crazy. But they don't realize, like, I'm just in the room by myself, though. Like, I'm in my room by myself talking to a camera. They just think that I'm like, there's nobody else here. I'm eating cinnamon dime by myself. I'm swimming in a tub of cereal by myself. And then here comes, like, can you come to the White House and interview President Barack Obama? Can he come here? Like, can he come to my house? Like, I gotta go over there. So you end up in these situations where you're like, you got to do it. You have to, I feel like I have to act like myself. Myself is like this, but I'm usually like just a few of us, so.
How was going to the White House and interviewing Obama? Like, did you get nervous? How did you approach that? Did you also feel a pressure to dim your light, so to speak?
Right, because here's this brother. I was like, what's up, man? You can't do that. But he makes you feel so cool, and it was interesting because I kept thinking, well, it's just not gonna happen. I kept like clicking the phone, like, stop, the president's not calling me, like, oh, the email block, like what, they're like, oh no, this is real. So I'm still thinking the whole time you're flying, if you're going into the White House, and I just bought some shoes and they were hurting my feet. I'm like, I'm going to take these off. So I'm walking around the White House. I'm like, what are they going to do? I'm here now. They're going to shoot me? They're going to shoot me now because I don't have my shoes on? So I don't know. I had to get real comfortable. And when he was there, they give you a protocol. Make sure you stand up. Don't touch him. Don't touch him. Just say hello and you greet him and you sit down. Like, okay. But when he got there, I'm just like, hey, You
gave him a hug.
And then right then I was like, oh no. But then, so I was paralyzed, so I was stuck. And I was like,
mid-hug?
I'm like, oh no. And then I'm going, well, they can't kill me because I'm hugging the president right now at this moment. So this whole time I'm like, paralyzed. And he's like, GloZell, can you let go? And I'm like, oh, he knows my name. And then there was like a death grip. Like,
he had to ask you,
and I was like, I would have
died.
Yeah, I did it with my hands around.
Obama killed you in that moment, in a way.
Obamacare. Okay, so then, but he smelled so good. So all these emotions, I'm like, oh, Michelle's going to be mad. I'm hugging her man. And I'm like, just all in my head.
Does he wear cologne?
Oh, he smells so good. He smelled like sandalwood and power, honey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
Who else have you interviewed? You had Justin Timberlake. What was?
Oh yeah, that's my. Okay, you kind of like if you
did
said,
my research.
Yeah, I'm saying like if you said that was my cousin, I'd be like, oh yeah, I see that.
Like a Walmart kind of version.
No. Okay, so Justin Timberlake plays Branch in this series called The Trolls, and I play his grandmother, and so that was really great meeting Justin Timberlake, and I was thrilled because who wasn't a fan. Excellent. So, I don't know. He's wonderful. Everybody's wonderful.
It's great. So you just, congratulations on the divorce, by the way.
Thank you. Okay, I don't know if you've been in a long-term relationship.
Sure. I mean, depends on what you call long-term.
That's right. You young. But it was 2 years. Like, you agree on everything and still he wouldn't sign. So he finally signed the day before the trial, which means I didn't have to pay for a lawyer. I'm like, thank you so very much. But he signed, and that was like, hallelujah. So now my boyfriend was like, are you single now? Because technically I had a husband the whole time we met.
Did you guys use that like any like role play situations? Like,
okay, we're going there.
I don't know. I feel like,
hey,
like sometimes
married woman.
Do you ever do improv? They talk about like giving your partner
improv,
a gift, and so like use the resources you have, and so like here you are, you're technically married. You have agreed to separate. You guys are, it's pretty common what you did. You date even though you're married, and so
I thought it was gonna end. I didn't think that it was gonna take 2 years to get a divorce when you don't have any property or anything. So I was like, papers have been served. Don't worry about it. The divorce will come in a few months. 2 years later, we're still going. And then you have to like, when do you introduce your boyfriend to I have a 5-year-old daughter. She was 3 at the time when I met my boyfriend. Like, do you introduce your daughter to the boyfriend and you don't know how long the boyfriend's gonna be around when you still married?
What was your answer?
Immediately. Because what had happened was, it was around the holidays in December. I was like, I'm going to Florida. He's like, well, let's meet. I'll pick you up from the airport. I'm like, no, because my sister's going to be with me. My child's going to be with me. He's like, well, who are you going to get? I'm like, Lyft or Uber. And he said, well, those are strangers still. I could kill you just as well as they could if you scared of that. I'm like, that's true. So we met like really quick on Bumble.
You met on Bumble?
Yeah, so he was a fan. So we were Facebook friends for over 10 years. And then my friend, Tracy McClellan, she's like, go on Bumble. Get you some free food. You ain't got to marry nobody. Just go on a few days and get you some free. I'm like, I need some free food, honey. Yeah, so I went on Bumble and he saw it. And he's like, wait a minute, someone is using your profile to catfish people. I'm like, no, that's me. He's like, oh, well, can you swipe right or left, whatever it was. I said, why? We talking on Facebook. Why I got to go to the dating site?
So you were chatting on Facebook, and he was like a fan. He was following you.
Yes, for over 10 years, yes.
How, and what were you guys, had you met him in person at that point?
Never.
And what were you chatting about?
Well, for over 10 years, you just kind of click like on pictures, and there was a time I tried to set him up with my friend. And I thought he would be a good friend to my husband at the time, but that didn't work out. Hallelujah.
What made you interested? What was the thing online that made you think, I'm going to build this online connection with this guy or friendship?
Well, it was
because as a public figure and you have fans.
Yes.
That's sometimes an awkward, confusing relationship. Like who can I trust? Who can I be authentic to?
True, but you have a distance when you're on Facebook, like you don't have to ever meet up with somebody. But I was thinking like, oh, he's a decent person. He's a retired special agent. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I would see what he's posting. He's posting about his daughter. And I'm like, okay, he's single. And it's always like, where are the single men? For your friends. I'm thinking for my sister, for my cousin, for whoever, my friends. And I did eventually approach him about a friend, and I was thinking like, oh, he'll be, to do the couple things. Like, oh, my husband will love him, and then I'll be friends with the girl that I know already, and thank goodness they never hooked up.
And so he saw you on Bumble, thought you
that's 6 years later.
6 years later.
Uh-huh.
And then he wanted you to swipe right to make that official?
Yes. I'm like, why?
Did he ask you out on Bumble or on Facebook?
He's asked me he asked me if he could ask me out on Bumble. I'm like, this makes no sense. I'm talking to you right now.
Certainly a gentleman.
Yes.
Asking permission to ask permission.
Right. On another site. So I'm like, So then he picked me up for Christmas. The holidays when I came home from Florida. And we've been together ever since. And I never even saw his site on Bumble. I never, so I was on a dating site for 20 minutes.
And he lives in Florida?
No, he lives here.
He lives here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, he lives here.
How's it going?
It's going great. It's so much better now that I'm single. But then I was wondering, like, was that kind of the glue? Like, it's so taboo.
Yeah, that's what,
it's so
saying.
taboo. Like, oh my goodness. Like, and it's been 2 years of me talking about, if I could get this divorce, now we get it. And it's like, crickets. There you go.
What was the thing? Was he always supportive in the awkwardness that was you being married, or did it ever, because we do get a lot of people who ask questions like that, like, I'm getting a divorce, I'm separated, when is it okay to date? And like, listen, it depends on what, there's so many variables, right? A lot of it is, what your comfort level it is. Are there kids involved, finances? And then if you start dating, like, are they cool with it? Like, sometimes you just don't want to have to explain your situation to people all the time. Like, how was he with that? And what advice would you have? Like, what worked in that situation that you could offer to our audience of anyone going through that? Like, the do's and don'ts of dating while technically married.
Yes, I'm open, but I guess I'm naive because I really didn't think it was going to take that long. Because I was in a relationship like, we have two different lives. We're not even talking. This makes no sense. So I thought it was just going to be like, boom, boom. Like, you don't care about me. I don't care about you. We just don't care. But then all of a sudden, when Gus entered the picture, like, I got child protective services called on me. The police came by, called 911 on me. I'm like, if you cared this much, we wouldn't be in this situation if I had saw a little initiative before. But, so it was almost like he came more attractive after he was trying to throw me in jail. So I'm like, not once, not twice, but 3 times. The last time was 2 weeks ago. So I'm like, okay.
So it was a bit of a toxic relationship.
Now, yeah, well, I'll put it like this. The person that you marry is not the person that you divorce. Like, you going with all rose-colored glasses. You don't know what's going on. You just like, oh, you're just so cute. And, and then when it's time to go, you're like, where did that come from? Oh, the quietness that you have now is like the sneakiness. We're talking about the qualities that you enjoyed in someone is now what's driving you crazy. I can't get any information like, are you taking her here? Are you picking up from school? Blah, blah, blah. Before it was like, he's so quiet. I'm so loud. And he's so quiet. Now it's like, he's so quiet. So.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
But my boyfriend, since we've known each other for 10 years, and I'm telling everything on my Facebook, on Instagram, he knew the situation. And he's also divorced. But just years longer than I am, because I'm 1 week divorced. So
he's a former agent.
Yes, special agent. I'm just like,
does he like?
And private detective, which is really great.
It's a really convenient thing. Yes, I feel like unless you make him mad, because the thing you like about him might be the thing you don't like about him later.
That's true. See, what's your therapist's name?
Darlene.
Darlene, I might have to call Darlene. That's true. You bring up a very good point. So I just need to get it right. But a part of me is like, not quite pressure, but it's like, I don't want to introduce my daughter to somebody else. This is working. This is cool. So I don't want to make the same mistake of trying to lock it down. Like, okay, this is it. But anyway.
What do you?
But I want more kids. So he's cute.
And your first child.
Mm-hmm. First and only.
You had through our
IVF. 12 IVFs.
I'm kind of ignorant to that process.
Okay.
But I looked at your social. Mm-hmm. You had
a surrogate?
Surrogate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. She's just white as hell over there. Yes. And that was an issue because it was like.
What? Yeah.
When that came out, right when I finally got the right, I call it my green eggs and his ham together. And then, we in the refrigerator waiting. And then we had to find somebody who would be a surrogate. Now, a lot of people are ignorant to it. So people are like, oh, so you just want a white baby because she is just white, like English, Irish white.
Isn't it like she just, it's like an oven, really?
Right. But people don't know that,
I knew that.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
And then.
Just more of a baking system. Yeah.
I felt bad because there was a lot of, I don't know which crisis was going on, but it was a lot of tension between black and white and the police and this and that during that time. And we're talking about like, yeah, she's carrying my baby, blah, blah, blah. And then I started to get concerned because here's this woman walking around carrying this black baby when we're in the world where all of this turmoil just really started to heat up. And I was like, oh my goodness. And plus people were saying that if God wanted you, this is where I bond so much with my tribe, my people, my rainbow people, because people were telling me if God wanted you to have a baby, then it wouldn't be so hard, like it's So there was a lot of gay people who understood my story and understood because they were getting that same kind of
that same energy.
Like you're not supposed to have kids. So this is why you shouldn't have to do IVF. So we were in the same boat together.
Says the toxic parent who shames their kids over crazy ass things.
I'll be at Arizona Pride. I mean, you Saturday. You support people who support you.
Yeah.
So there we go. Hey. So 12 IVFs and there's this woman who gives birth, and my daughter. Not only is she black than everybody in the family. Like this child is nothing. There's nothing white about her. You know.
Do you still have a strong relationship with?
I do.
How do you refer to her? The surrogate.
I call her tummy mommy. I'm like, this is
tummy mommy.
The tummy mommy. This is your tummy mommy. This is the woman who gave birth to you.
And there must be some bond there.
And I let her know. And we send pictures, and we're Facebook friends. Like, I guess I get all my relationships from Facebook. So anyway, I definitely post a lot because I know that she's looking in, and I send her a message every Mother's Day and on her birthday because I wouldn't be a mom because of her. Thank you, white lady. So,
what are you currently watching these days?
Okay, so did you listen? What NonPerfect Strangers? Did you?
Yes.
That was crazy.
It's trippy.
It took me a while because the name didn't really intrigue me, but I do like.
It's kind of like NonPerfect Strangers.
I was like, they didn't really go too wild on the name, so I kept swiping, whatever, and it kept coming up. I'm like, let me watch this foolishness because I do like the actors in it, but I just couldn't. And then, oh my goodness,
did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
These people are cray-cray. They are insane. So I really, really, really enjoyed it.
What was your biggest takeaway from it?
My biggest takeaway is did you watch it all?
I did, yeah.
Okay, the black lady is crazy. She's got to be the nutty one at the end. So spoiler alert. But
she found they were all kind of nuts.
They were all kind of nuts, but not the nuttiest.
She was violent.
Yes, of course. Let's just say the black girl she was super violent and crazy. Great actress because Regina Hill. Yeah, because I didn't see that coming. I'm like, I can play that part. She's also one of the people that I get beat out all the time. Like you go to these auditions and you're like, darn, what? I should just walk out because I know she gonna get it. And it's like you know them, you love them, but you're like, can you be busy enough?
It's like if she's available, if you were gonna hire me, you might as well hire her.
Yes, I'm like, I pray that you're just so busy that we need a black woman. Okay, everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. Let's hire GloZell. Finally, can you please? So I did enjoy that. And okay, I'm the main lady.
Nicole Kidman?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I was fascinated with her in that. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's beautiful. She's intriguing. I don't know how she's doing the Lucille Ball one. I'm just trying to see because she's gonna play Lucille Ball. She's cast as Lucille Ball.
Oh, is she?
And I'm like, how is that gonna happen? But I can't wait to see.
Range.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be the first one to bow down to see that because she's a phenomenal actor, but I've never seen her in comedy.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actor, but she definitely is one of those actors who plays a certain what most people think of her. She plays a certain type of character extraordinarily well.
Yes.
Right.
So,
and there's a lot of great actors that we all love who do that, and I wish I could do that, but and so we're not disrespecting Nicole.
No, not at all. I'm rooting for her.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. But obviously, I'm not casting. If I was casting, I'd be like, girl, what?
I think a big part of NonPerfect Strangers was the conversation around psychedelics and the use of certain type of drugs.
I want to do that. I've never done drugs. I've never smoked anything. I don't even drink. This is tea. I've never had coffee. But there's this thing where you go and you drink something and you throw up and
oh, what's that called?
It's called something.
Ayahuasca, yeah.
Yes.
Ayahuasca or
that I've never.
That's close.
A different one.
Something like that, and then you just go to another level. I've been getting into crystals and things. I'm like, just go to a high vibration. I know someone who said, I heard the trees talk. I'm like, what does a tree have to say to me? You know?
I've recently for the first time
had some mushrooms.
Yeah.
What? What happened?
Not all that much. I was very cautious and like I didn't like go nuts, you know. I took a small amount. It was interesting because there was a moment and it made me kind of think about it afterwards because I said to people, they're like, what was it like? And I was like, I felt like I was my best self.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah, and it bothered me. And then I got self-conscious about it because what I meant by that is because what I was I felt like I was the most likable I've ever been. And because I was I was in public. I was among people. I was, yeah. And
you was tripping in front of a bunch of people?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Lights, music, you know.
Bold move.
Yeah, you're like, I was in a safe environment.
I was at a festival.
At a music festival.
Yeah.
I was in front of people. There were lights. There were music.
And I was very, cause like I'm hit or miss. Again, I can be introverted and extroverted. And when I just never really know when my introverted side is gonna come out. And when I'm in public like that and you're committed to a festival, it can be like a lot of anxiety. And I was very nice and likable and approachable. And
Who told you that? How you know? You could have been you could have been horrible.
No. You're not like, it's not.
You're aware of yourself?
You're very aware.
Yeah. It's like you're in control, which is I think the thing that like
there's a misconception
is like, cause you hear psychedelics and you're like, okay, different world. It's like I'm living in an animated TV show. And
I have full,
you sound like you're an expert. You had some too, huh?
No, I've done like, I feel like you moved to LA and then you realize that mushrooms are different than acid.
NonPerfect Strangers. You're like, how could this be that?
Everybody's talking about wellness and microdosing and you're like, okay.
Right.
Like it's different than acid.
I'm very interested for me. But I'm scared. I'm terrified, but I want to do it.
But then that made me think about, because I said to myself, I'm my best version of myself. And then I realized, well, maybe I was just more likable. And then I went down a rabbit hole of like, what does likable really mean? Because, we had Susan Cain, who wrote the book about introverts and extroverts. And we just have a society that for years told us that being extrovert was likable and being introverted wasn't. And so then I thought to myself, was I giving too much credit to this experience of like, doing mushrooms and like feeling like I need to be a certain person or take this thing in order to be likable? It was like a kind of a trippy kind of self-awareness thing that I'm still like, am I being too hard on myself? And that's the thing that's why I was asking that question. It's just like, I have a hard time sometimes accepting that I am this way because I know that I will bring criticism towards me, and then at what level do I need to accept that, and at what level is my responsibility to make other people feel more comfortable when they're around me? Does that make sense?
It does, but I'm looking at you. I'm like, you're hot. Don't nobody care.
Yeah, but being a hot, tall, quiet guy, often who's an aloof dick.
People still like, but you can make some pretty babies.
I always get second.
You can make some pretty babies.
What I always get is another shot.
Right. I'm just like look at that perfect nose. Like, it'll be all right.
Well, that's how I've gotten away with it.
I understand.
It's because I'll always get another shot.
Yeah, look at that smile. I'm like, you get another shot.
Feel like I'll just
get another shot, baby.
Smile next time.
Right.
But like it bugs me sometimes. Like I'll get very self-conscious and in my head.
You want to get that high again. That's what it's like.
I also didn't even feel. You don't feel high. It's not like feeling drunk.
How do you know? Well, I don't. I never drank.
Do you have any like visual, like, or was it like very pleasing and interesting to look at certain things?
Right.
I didn't take all that. But it was.
Could you smell the color red?
I felt slightly euphoric. I was going around and being like, I don't know if this is the lighting or this is the mushrooms.
Yes.
It was a very pretty sunset.
After you say that, it is the mushrooms.
I was saying that a lot. And it was like everything was really pretty.
Would you do it again, or have you done it again?
Yes.
Yes, you would.
Yes, and yes.
Okay, so was the second experience?
But I was I think that thought, that initial thought I had, and then thinking about that thought that it's just like I never touched any drugs other than alcohol until into my 30s, right? Okay. So like I was very much a late bloomer, which I'm really glad because I did it when I was mature and I could source it from responsible areas, and I was doing it in safe places and et cetera, but I don't.
Festival, the safe place of the festival is just what I want to make sure that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In front of a bunch of people, I was very safe. Okay.
But I don't like the idea. It kind of almost scared me that I had that thought about myself, about who I was and as a person, being on it, and so that made me want to be like, I'll do it again, but I'm less anxious to try it again because I don't want to feel like I need it to be like, because a lot of people will be like, that's why they drink.
Right.
To loosen up. And certainly
liquid courage is what
yeah.
they call,
and so I don't like that feeling of needing something to be a certain way around people.
Okay. Were the other people like, could you take some more, please?
Probably.
Like,
that's what I worry about.
Can we get that guy back?
Get the guy some fucking drugs.
Here's some fungus for the fungi. There you go.
Make him a fungi. I don't know. And so you're open to trying it.
I am open to try. I keep saying when I'm 90, I'm going to drink coffee.
You've never had coffee.
I've never had coffee, and I want to do, at the time, it would have been weed, but now that's legal, so that doesn't seem as fun, so something wild and crazy on those lines. But like the mushrooms, and we're watching Perfect Strangers, and I'm just like, I do want to go. I want to hear the trees talk. Like, what vibration is that? But I want to be able to come back. I'm scared that I might stay up there in space and not come back different. Because when you meet somebody who used to be on drugs, that they used to be on drugs. I'm like, oh, that chick used to be on drugs.
I think I think there's a strong misconception, and I think that requires an extraordinary amount of abuse and of using it.
Some people can trip one time, and you're like, on something bad, Yeah,
I'm not an expert, so I don't want to say things I don't know, but I think for the most part, you can do it safe and responsibly, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm in no way trying to encourage you to use.
No, I'm not close to 90, but I figured, when I get to 50 next year, I might do some Botox, and I'm gonna see how that go. Well, actually, after I have my next kids, I'm putting it out there. It's gonna have to be a miracle because I just got a divorce. I have a boyfriend, but I do want more kids. I don't want my child to be an only child. So I'm like, I'm going to wait for the other stuff, even though that might help eggs grow. I don't know.
And again,
mushroom and eggs
forgive my ignorance. Would you have to also do IVF then too?
Unless, it'll be a complete miracle.
It would be considered a miracle. Okay.
Yes, because my daughter now is a miracle because doctor after doctor said, no, you need to use someone else's egg. You need to use. So when I got to a doctor, it was like, well, you can use your egg and someone you just can't carry. I was like, I'll go for that. And then here you come. People like, there's so many people that, children you could adopt. Why are you doing that? No matter what you do and what decisions you make for yourself, especially when you do it publicly, people come after you.
Yeah.
So you have to just be strong, no matter what.
I can only imagine the criticism because oh my goodness. When you adopt a dog or not adopt a dog.
What? It's a purebred? You should have gone to the pound. Okay.
And I think it's great if you have the heart and capacity to adopt in any.
Yes.
And then if you don't, I also think it's okay.
Still might do it, but I'm just saying that this is the route I wanted to go.
I did not adopt Jeff. Jeff's my dog.
Oh.
And I quite love him. Jeff.
So you didn't go with like an animal name, like Fido, Poofy, I don't know.
Poofy.
Jeff.
He's
like,
he's a Jeff.
Yes, I love that.
He got in some hemorrhoid cream this morning. Which is a little concerning.
My God. And whose hemorrhoid cream is that? Is it for under eyes or under
his butt keratin?
Yeah, it's for the under eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's for totally cosmetic.
Yes. It helps with the puffiness either way, Yeah. If it's the little raisin in between your crack or if it's under your eyes, it'll help get rid of that puffiness.
What do you worry about these days?
Huh?
What do you worry about?
I realized that I've been worrying so much about this divorce that I've lost weight. I'm like, was stress fattening? Stress is, because now all of a sudden I haven't changed anything and things are looser and so I do worry about now, and I try not to because I I do my meditations and my prayers and I light my candles and I got my crystals about finances and having more kids. And then it's like you have to have faith or believe that you can have more kids when reality is like, you ain't got no money for no kids. To have the surrogate, that's over $120,000. That's just resting. You just have to already have that because you go into the doctor appointments. She has to go to doctor appointments. To even build up the IVF.
That's the cost, because I'm assuming there's.
So it costs so much.
Because
my daughter was on layaway. You just do a payment plan. Like a core. I'm like, I might finish paying for you, girl.
You're still paying for it.
I'm still paying for you, child. You just put it on a payment plan.
She's like, what's for Christmas? And you're like, you.
You, exactly. She's like, I'm like, people ask her, what do you want to be when you grow up? She's like, I want to be. I'm like, you're going to be an IVF doctor because I'm going to get my money back. That's what you're going to be, little girl. But when you have to pay for the surrogate and she's going on bed rest or she's going to her doctor's appointments and she's got to eat and all this stuff. So you're looking at least $120,000.
Wow.
And somehow somebody going to give it to me or something because I'm going to have another child. That's all I know. Next time I'm on your show, you'll be like, what? How is Jeff Jr. doing? I'll be like, I don't know. Jeff Zell.
Well, you are someone who's talks a lot about overcoming adversity, right?
True. I have to overcome the adversity of age because already at 43, people, they're like, you are too old to be doing, you just too old. Jerry, you should have done this in your 20s. Who in their 20s trying to do IVF, But I would tell my daughter to do that, just freeze your eggs because then you have the freedom of not trying like, okay, even though this man is not talking to me, we need to have a baby. You're not. You're trying to make things happen. So, there you go. Unless it was you. There you go. You can not talk. Eat your shrooms at the festival. I just need the baby.
If going back to relationships and dating, and you're obviously a self-aware, honest, reflective person.
Yes.
What are red flags about yourself?
Red flags about myself.
If you were you're in love, you got a boyfriend.
Yes.
If you weren't, if you were dating and
even
someone,
now, yes.
What would be like I probably I'm a little
red flags about myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
That you're like, I should not do this. It's not like something that someone's gonna get annoyed, but they like you about you now. It's like, I need to not be okay with me doing this.
Although this is everyone, I have to let them know that I am a hoarder.
Really?
And the problem with being an influencer, we will call it YouTubers at the beginning.
Sure.
So now
people send you shit.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
And it's good stuff. I'm like, I need all 5 of these hourglasses.
You have 7 coffee makers.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this came from Days of Our Lives, and this one came from I've got 5. What am I going to do with it? But they're good things. I can't just throw it away.
Give it away.
But, okay, see, that's the thing about a hoarder. I want it. I want it. This is mine.
Do you work on this?
On what
level of hoarding are we talking here?
We're talking we had people come in because I was just like a dead cat away.
They could have been a dying animal.
Yes, really, you shouldn't live like this. And what happened was and just so happens, look at the universe. Thank you, universe. The day I had my friend Tracy, she's a declutterer, come over. The next day is when the police came to check out my place to see that my daughter was living, because he's like, she lives in filth and she beats her and all these other things that weren't true. However, the house was a little unkempt. But when they came over, there was literally bubbles in the toilet. I was like, oh, come on in. Come on in. Yes, but the
Lord works in mysterious ways.
But I do have an issue. I have a problem. And then you're in things. It's like, oh, I'm in this magazine. I'm in People magazine. I'm in Vanity Fair. So you get 80 of them. You get, but I can't throw it away because that's me. So there's a part of me is like.
Is it though?
See, okay. Daphne, what's her name?
Darlene.
Yeah, okay, Darlene. It's true. You connected to what if nothing, Vanity Fair is huge. This is it. This is me in it. And you get attached to this moment and not there's more coming. You kind of stuck, trapped. I don't know.
So is this something that you've recently identified? And are you like trying to not be, or you're just like, I'm a hoarder?
I'm trying not to. It's easy to throw away stuff that my ex has given, now my ex, because.
Maybe just like tape his face to all their items.
So it's because I don't want that to be an issue with my boyfriend, Augustus. But he's like, it's getting
what
to
does
the
he
point.
say about that?
Well, I had it all right in the beginning, but now it's been 2 years, and now it's like the stepping over stuff. And I'm like, okay, I just push it in this corner. I just push it in that corner. So I working on giving stuff away, but then I'm the person to go back in the dumpster. I'm like, oh, but what if she wants this, even though it's too small, and so wow. I do have that issue, and I can hide it for a little bit and stuff it away in different ways. But
is your storage optimized?
The storages, yes. Storages, yes.
So
yes.
Those are all full.
So you're paying lots of money to store free shit.
Yes, and I will advertise for any storage place, so I can get it for free.
Let's get that storage sponsorship.
Yes, because and you get good
oh yeah, you get good
all the
things.
time. There's something being delivered every day, and I'm good at advertising it. Because I have fun. I'm like, oh, look, I'm really excited. Yeah. Even if it's something I'm like, suntan lotion. I love suntan. I'm never going to use this suntan.
I've accidentally given things away that I shouldn't have given away. I'm the opposite.
See, I'm like, I can't.
I'm like, I can't. I don't know. Like, I got another coffee maker.
No, I don't drink, but I'm like, I could open a bar. The last thing, Kevin Hart has this talk show, and when they drink about certain things, blah, 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 he sent me 3 wine bottles. I'm like, it's from Kevin Hart. How can I give this away?
Drink it. Oh, you don't drink?
I've never had alcohol.
Do you throw parties?
No.
GloZell, what if you give it to me and I'll send you videos of my exact tasting notes of exactly what goes down?
You know what? That might help because I'm like, I want to make sure that it goes to a nice place. And one time, I actually had to downsize, and I had this table, and you put it up on Facebook or whatever, like, come get this table, blah, 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 for 25 cents or whatever I was selling it for. And I wanted to be friends with the lady who got the table because I wanted to see how the tables. She thought I was so nice. I'm like, so I don't know, what's your number? Or
imagine the rummage sale you could have, the garage sale.
But I'll be getting everybody's
negotiating them off of it.
How much for this? $500,
And then jump in the car with them, like, take the money back. I want, I don't drink coffee, but this is a current, this is a good thing. Like, someone gave it to me.
Why do I feel like GloZell would have the same relationship with the people who bought her stuff as she does with her surrogate? She'd start sending them cards on Christmas, be like, hope the table is treating you well.
I think about that table now. It's been 3 years. I think about that. I'm like, is it okay? Is it all right? Do they love it? Did they throw it away yet? I don't know. It's almost bringing a tear. I'm really trying to, I have an issue. I don't know why I connect to inanimate, is it what you call it?
Yeah, I wonder, I'm sure there's a psychology behind what causes that.
And that's not even that simple.
I feel like it's all about scarcity versus abundance. So it's like if you're in, even if you have abundance, but you're in kind of a mindset of scarcity, I have to make sure I have enough.
Right.
Then.
I mean, as a child, what was your childhood, right? I think this all comes from our childhood stuff, right?
I'm a second generation hoarder. My mom is a hoarder too.
Oh.
Yes, she's got 200 folding chairs. We have over 10 upright pianos. We have over 70 rugs on top of a wall-to-wall shag carpet. So I'm like, and when I go there, I'm like, and then I go home like, she's just ahead of me. She's just 50 years ahead of me, but my daughter's used to let me get in the car, let me climb over this. And I'm like, so I have done that, and I have to keep doing that, especially if the police going to continue to be called on me. But I do. I mean, that helps. He doesn't realize you are helping me, but don't call the police anymore. They're all like, hey.
Is filth a crime?
Because I keep thinking.
You look at me, Nick?
I'm just looking at the room. I mean,
no, because I keep thinking that homeless people get to keep their kids. There's people in shelters that get to keep their kids. So I'm like, this is the base of what I'm like. I'm in a luxury place. However, my boyfriend's like, you know what? Every time I'm here, you always have garbage bags. I'm like, oh, okay. So you hear it. I can't imagine years down the line that. Every time I walk out the door, I'm like, just take something to the trash. We're talking bags. I can take because you take out the I don't know, whatever it is, the mug. Oh, got it. It comes in this big box. It's got like 5,000 candies in it. And I'm like, but the box is so nice. You know, Nick gave me such a nice box. You know, I don't want to throw away the box. And then I was on like a Kardashian show once, and I'm like, they came from the Kardashians. I can never give it away. You know, but I don't want anybody else to use it. Like, you've got sunglasses in this. I'm like, don't touch that. Like, I want to hurt you if you touch it.
Well, you're certainly able to appreciate things.
Yes. Thank you. See, you are bright and sunny.
Well, you know, there's a good and a bad way to look at anything.
Right. I'm telling you, the thing that you like about somebody, like, oh,
it's like, how do you channel that?
You know?
Yeah.
Right. How do you channel that? Well, I work on myself all the time because I know the end result. You know, somebody can't live with somebody. Stuff is stacked, like literally stack, you know. Being
the open person that you are, and I'm assuming the answer is yes, but I guess, and if so, in what way? What is, like, do you ever regret being so open and honest because it's used against you? Like, because people like to do that, right? You show your vulnerability, and then people kind of like, you know, store that admission away until they can use it against you.
I don't regret it. However, it has been used against me. We'll probably get to this, and this is one of my sayings, like, to thy own self be true. I've tried to be other people, and it doesn't work. I'm an open person. I don't know why I feel like I'm about to tear. You bringing out the over in me. But, I'm coming from a sincere place. Like, somebody else that's vicious, they can take that, like, oh, okay, she just said that she needs to clean up. This is the day that the police come. Like, I don't know what the thought process is. But, and I do get it all the time. Why are you telling all your business? I didn't know, like, I would have to do 12 IVFs. I'm thinking, I'm going to do my little green smoothie, get my little wheatgrass. You know, everything going to be fine. I'm going to have this wonderful baby, you know, and it didn't work. It went on. But from the end result of that is that so many women have come up to me and given me messages and hope, because I was 43. You know, people are having issues at 30 as far as with having babies. And so here I am, not thinking that I was going to be the spokesperson for IVF, but I kept going. And if you keep going.
And you were 43 when you had your daughter.
Yes, 43. And now at 49, I'm like, it's going to happen
49?
again. Mm-hmm. I know you like, well,
you look great.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes,
damn.
you're allowed to say that. Because I'm telling you, you know, so I'm getting better, you know, just don't come to my house. You got to let me know when you're coming over so I can move things, you know, under the couch and under the bed and under this, you know, so you can, you know, they're great things, but I want to keep it all.
Do you have a maid or a housekeeper?
I have someone who comes to help me out. I did before, like, definitely a maid person. Now I have a Jane of all trades, which is Mariah, who's out there right now. Because I was like, how am I going to get there? She's like, I'll drive you. I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Because I'm not the best of the best drivers, you know.
I'm not either.
I'm just.
Why are you bad?
Well, yeah, because I grew up in Florida. Everything was flat. I'm not understanding driving on mountains. I just do not get that concept. And I'm like mad at California because I'm like, who thought that was okay?
Do you think it's because, and this is why I'm a bad driver, I'm absent-minded and I have a short attention span. And so, like, I suppose, like, the straight, like,
it's so true.
Like, I don't have to turn for 20 minutes. So I'm good. But here, there's a lot of turns and windy roads.
Oh, my goodness. What was it? Coldwater, McConnell, there's like one way, you know, it's a two-way place, you know, and so you can't go around. If you go around one way, there's like a cliff that you'll die. Another one is a mountain and cars coming through. People blow the horn. And then there was a coyote that came across. I'm like, I've got to die up here. So I do. And my attention span is true. I'm like, oh, I missed the exit because I was singing Ariana Grande. And now I'm like, oh, and the GPS like, turn around, you have missed it, recalculating. And I'm like in another city, another state. I mean, I've done that so many times. So I get the absent-mindedness. What is that? That's totally like ding, 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 that's me.
Yeah, I mean, just I'm in my thoughts a lot. I don't know. I mean, I probably.
Also, like, I have ADD. Do any of you, have you seen anything about ADD? I feel like there's been a big resurgence on TikTok about, like, people being like, oh, adult ADD is a thing. And not saying that, like, anybody.
Did it ever go away?
What?
People are like rediscovering this? I didn't.
Yeah, I feel like I think there's a big push of like, especially women are like a really underdiagnosed group of people with ADD. And so I feel like there's been a lot of awareness raised on TikTok. So a lot of people are like, I have ADD. But then it sometimes crosses over into like too many people being like, oh yeah, I have ADD without getting any kind of diagnosis.
Well, that's the thing. Well, yeah, because we now live in a time. Again, it's always this balance of mental health, awareness, working on ourselves. These terms of dating, narcissist, all these things, and now we're starting to identify with them as I'm this and I'm that. It's like I get to say I'm ADD and feel like I'm part of a group now.
Okay.
Or I dated a narcissist, and we're like, maybe you just dated a dick.
Right.
Well,
I feel like I'm the opposite. Like, I don't want to claim anything, but because I'm thinking people with ADD is like, they're all over the place, where I'm more like, I got to be there on time. I got to get there. And I don't know. Maybe so. Like, oh my goodness. What's her name? Darlene?
Darlene. Yeah.
Yes, Darlene. Okay. You just Darlene me. Because very well possible. And that probably somehow connects with mushrooms that kind of help you, like, at a festival. So.
Yeah, it's like you're going to leave this interview with a diagnosis.
I'm like, yes,
with a treatment plan.
I have been healed. I've been to church here.
I have no solutions. No, I wouldn't know the first thing about hoarding.
That's one of the things. And kind of hoarding and not hoarding, because it's not like I go out and like, where is the next, blender? Things come to me. I just don't want to get rid of them. So a hoarder is a person who just kind of like
seeks it out,
like goes to the garage sales. And I'm not that. I get the stuff. I love the stuff. I advertise the stuff. I just don't give it away.
What makes you roll your eyes the most in life? Like being out in the street?
Oh, being out in the street.
Just like interacting with people
who are late. I cannot stand that. It triggers something in me because my parents never picked me up on time.
You were very much on time.
They never picked me up on time, but yet I was like went to
your parents
white school. Like I was.
Did you have to like call collect?
And I'm like,
hey,
why do black people always late? They were never on time. Here comes the Greens. They were never on time. So I
don't know. My parents were white and they're pretty late often, but they had 10 kids.
But you were with other white kids. I know you're not hanging out with Tyrone and Keisha. I was with I know like 100 Karens, and they've all been nice to me, by the way. But yes, so I cannot stand the lateness. That I'm getting better with that. Things that make me roll the eyes, because I'm older and I feel like I'm a little prudish, so I have to work on that also, because I have a daughter who's several generations different than me. So clothes, people's clothing. Father, I don't want to see your behind. I don't want to see your midriff. I don't. So I seek out like private school. You have a uniform? Okay, great. That's wonderful.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you're conservative in your.
In a way, like I said, I'm going to Pride, Arizona Pride, but yet I'm very
just because
conservative.
You're conservative with like how people dress doesn't mean you're conservative in all aspects of your life.
Because I'm going to see a whole lot of things. I'm going to be, we're going to have a good time. However, I am conservative on certain things. So
sure.
I guess, I don't know.
I think
how can you be conservative and go to Pride? I don't know. That was weird, but that is how I am.
You absolutely can. Well, we live in a world that's, everyone wants to think it's all this or that, and there's no nuance. But yeah, you can have conservative points of view.
My daughter's in cheerleading, but I won't let her wear like the little like half top thing in the short shorts. She's in long sleeves
And do you fight with her about that?
Fight with her? She fine.
I don't know.
No. But it's gonna.
I feel like nowadays kids are fighting with their parents earlier and earlier.
She wants to, because all her friends are wearing the cute little. But I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean,
she's fine.
There's some places where kids run the household. Scary generation.
She can't run too many places until I move stuff out the way. So, I'm sorry. Don't call the police on me, y'all, please.
What are you pop culture passions these days?
Pop culture passions?
Do you follow? You're into pop culture, yeah?
I'm cool like that, I guess. I'm down with my homies.
We were discussing Pete Davidson before you came in.
Oh my goodness!
Like, what is the?
What's the draw?
What's the draw?
The draw is that my internet daughter Ariana Grande dated him. That's what, and I hope that this doesn't make her upset, because you don't want to make the Grandes upset.
I'd rather not.
But I'm just saying that I think it made him bigger than life.
Yeah.
And some people might have been scratching their heads too, but
like she started the trend of successful, powerful women dating him.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's like now become a thing.
Yes, and she loves hard. Like she cares about you. She cares about you. So he must. The first thing I thought was like, wow, he must be funny. This guy is talented.
He is funny.
He is, and and I wish him well with whoever he's dating. He's dating some. Oh, is it KK?
Well,
is it KK? Is he dating KK? Like, is he dating KK? Because are they working on some kind of project and you see them together? Because Kanye, the other K, he ain't going nowhere.
At this point, is it fair to wonder if anything Kim does is like for herself, or is it just another promotable opportunity?
I think that it's a great promotable opportunity. Because she was on Saturday Night Live.
Pete Davidson has now become a PR event.
Right.
When it comes to dating, right?
And he's a good writer. He's funny, and he's on Saturday Night Live, and she killed it on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So maybe she's trying to, they're going to work on other projects. I don't know.
I also think like the environment of SNL, like especially for someone like Kim K, kind of being out of her element in that way. Yes. I imagine having like part of the reason I bet Pete Davidson pulls so much is because when people are feeling super nervous, like the adrenaline, having someone who's like cool and kind and calm and makes you feel safe, like in this really scary situation, like perfect for like meeting partners. I feel.
He seems like it's someone who would make you feel welcome.
Yeah, who would like make a little comment to like be like, don't worry about it. Like, just to make you feel
he never
like
takes
any
moment too seriously. I don't know. That's what I don't know anything about.
I would think humor, because all us comedians, there's this, darker side. But I think if you make somebody laugh, you can bring, their energy to a chill place.
Well, and they did that whole like Jasmine, Aladdin skit together. Like they fully kissed on SNL. And I also
maybe he's just a really good kisser.
But also
he's got nice lips.
They did like such a public date nice at like the amusement park. I'm like, if you were actually dating, I feel like you would just do that behind closed doors.
I bet you there's a project that they're working on together.
I'm like, why are we riding rides?
But I still like. I like seeing who's he's dating now, and what's Kim doing? I'm interested. I check every day. You're like, oh, TMZ, what's going on?
Do you have a celebrity crush?
Do I have a celebrity? Yes. Yes, I have a few. They're a little older. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
As long as they're adults.
Yes. Oh yeah, I love David Beckham.
Yeah. I didn't know him at a coffee shop once.
Shut up.
Yeah.
He used to have like.
He's the first celebrity I've ever asked for a picture.
Really? I wouldn't be able to do it.
Do you still have that photo?
Fuck yeah, it's on Instagram.
I wouldn't be able to even talk. Like that's one.
It was a self-aware, humbling moment. I think I've told this story before, but I did the very thing. Sometimes I will be critical of where I was like, hey, do you mind? And then I blamed it on my mom and sisters of like why I was asking for the picture. And then I was like, fuck it, it's for me.
I love David Beckham, of course. And
a very hot person.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good Lord, Hammer. I've never even watched a soccer game or a basketball, whatever he does.
Soccer.
Football, I don't care.
Soccer and football in a way.
Okay, there you go. Okay, I knew he played something.
That's like his side hustle. He's professionally hot.
He is.
I'm kidding. But yes, he was a professional for all your soccer football fans.
Everybody in the UK is stewing right now, Nick.
I already have Canada mad at me about basketball.
Yeah. Trying to start World War III over sports.
I love Beyonce too. Like I don't think there's people that I don't think I could speak to. Like I'll just be standing there like, I want to take a picture. Just take this picture and I'm good.
Who's the most overrated celebrity in your mind?
Overrated celebrity? That's very interesting. Okay. Help me stay on track here because I was telling you about how I get on track. Overrated celebrity. I would be in the comedy club and there would be people who are not funny. Just not funny. And they ended up inspiring me because they kept going. They kept going. They kept showing up. I'm like, people are booing you. You are terrible. You never gonna make it. I'm literally going, how do you keep coming back?
Move back to the Midwest.
Yes, go anywhere. Just stop showing up at the comedy club. And then they kept going, and then you started seeing them in commercials or something like, you can't act. You're still terrible. And now in movies, like, you are horrible. So overrated, there is no overrated because, you kept going and you keep doing stuff. I feel like I'm super talented, but however, you can get trapped in your mind and like, okay, I got to go to the red carpet. You got to do this. You got to, but they keep going. So whoever's overrated and people see them, I think that's great because there's so many people who are talented you'll never see because they can't get out of their own mind or everything's got to be so perfect before they start to do anything.
Yeah.
And, so that's what, there you go.
Well, when you told that story, it made me think about, I had this thought about secondhand embarrassment and how I don't think it actually exists because all secondhand embarrassment is you being embarrassed that you can't do the thing you're watching being done. Like, for example, when you see the comedian bombing, whatever it is, and you feel what you call secondhand embarrassment, they're not embarrassed.
Somehow.
So it can't be secondhand. What you're feeling is you being embarrassed, just like you could be embarrassed about anything. Right. And you're feeling it because I can't do that. I don't have the guts or the strength or the determination or the perseverance. Right. So secondhand embarrassment is a made up thing that we say to make other people bad, knowing that we couldn't do the thing that they're either trying to do.
Exactly.
Or have the talent or the strength to persevere.
I totally agree with that. I'm like, you're awful. You don't have, you just, and that's in any business. You're just like, how did that person move up? They showed up. For me, in the comedy club, I wasn't the one that brought the house down, but I was there on time. So while you waiting for so-and-so, the big headliners to come in, they're not here. I'm here. You gonna get this. Right here. And that's how a lot of times I end up hosting and booking things because I was there. And that was my thing. Not the funniest one in the comedy club. My funny really came on YouTube being more physical and that kind of a thing. But in certain arenas, I'm like, that was my superpower. So yes, I would see people bomb over and over and over again. And now some of them I see them all the time. And I'm like, what? And that's just how it is. Keep going. Overrated? No, no. Get your job, honey. Get all of them. But the black women, can y'all just be just so busy that I can get one of them their jobs? And God,
do you feel like because I feel like there's been a big push, if for the past few years.
A black push?
Yeah, or just a push for a conversation about representation and the kinds of stories that we're telling, the kinds of characters featured in those stories.
I don't want to be a slave, but if you offer me a job, I will run away.
Well, do you feel like, because
I'm just saying, oh God.
Do you feel like it's in people's awareness and want to tell more diverse or just stories that are not so limited? Do you feel like that's actually translated from someone from a working black female actor and talent? Do you think that is translated? Have you seen that shift from your perspective of the industry?
It's growing because like we said, NonPerfect Strangers, that's not a traditional role for a black woman, but then she was the one that was the most violent and killed. So I don't know. It was killing. So, but it still wasn't only the principal or only the bus driver or only the person that works in the cafeteria. So, there's only so many roles and so there are different types of things. And I think it is expanding. And I would like to be on that part. But you do get the part I got a child, I got to eat. I would tap dance while eating fried chicken and grape juice. But right now, those things are we have evolved, and I think they are trying. Just one, and what's helped is the internet. Because I didn't have an agent before, but. This is how I met Ariana. She's like, I'm a fan. Come to my birthday party. I'm like, tell your mama that this middle-aged woman is showing up to your Sweet 16. I think you might need to let her know something, because I'm thinking my audience looked like me, but my audience didn't look like me.
Sure.
So that the internet gave me a chance because they're like, you're funny. We like you. I just want to play, where the agents at the time and the people who were getting the parts was like, you have to go through this agent and they better like you and you better know them. They better know your mama. You better make sure that you bring gifts and all this stuff. Your resume better be tight, where now it's like, well, you can create your own reality and for free. You could post for free. That's how I made it here. And now there's a new involvement. There's time for me to keep what I'm doing, but grow, and still willing to do that at 49. Remember y'all said I look good?
Great. Mm-hmm. GloZell.
I like that name. That might be my next child's name, GloZell.
I can't talk.
It's all good.
GloZell,
I'm still in this mug, by the way.
Such a pleasure having you on. Before we let you go,
yes.
You down to play just a fun game?
Oh, Lord. Yes, I'm down. I don't know what.
It's real simple.
Okay.
It's called Do You Know Me?
Do I know what?
It's called Do You Know Me?
Do
we know you, basically?
Oh, you know me?
That's the goal.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like we've certainly gotten to know you. Thank you for your transparency and honesty.
Child.
This is just more of the same of what you've been doing.
They're going to be crying in. Why she say so much? I have to block my mama again from Facebook and just don't call me right now. I've blocked her so many times.
We call this episode Block Your Mama.
I block my mama all the time. How you got a boyfriend? You still married? Oh, Lord Jesus. Block. I don't want to hear that. I can't. Because even though you big and
block
strong.
Your parents.
I had to block her because you
I'm a big
got to
advocate
live.
of blocking.
The very same person that I'm trying to impress, my mom. I want her to be proud. So when she says it's a million times worse than somebody saying, "Oh, look at that gorilla on the internet." Like you get all kinds of insults, but So yeah, I had to block my mama. She blocked still on Facebook. So her friends tell her what I post, but she don't get it from me. You are blocked, Gloria Green.
All right. Do you know me with GloZell?
Yeah.
Real simple. I'm going to ask you.
Say it slow, GloZell. Yes.
I wanted to say the Z while saying the G. It's my dyslexia.
Well, my father was named Ozell. My mother is named Gloria. Gloria and Ozell's GloZell. My daughter is named Ozell. So
I like that name.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you ready? It's real simple. I'm going to ask you a question. Most of them are yes or no, and you can elaborate if you want. You also don't need to. I have a feeling you might.
Oh, yes. Oh, you know me so well.
First question. Mm-hmm. Can GloZell drive a stick shift? Can
GloZell drive a stick shift? I am from the country, so there was a lot of factories and tractors, and the answer is no. I can't drive. I can barely drive a stick shift or a regular shift, not a stick or a leaf or anything. Nothing.
Okay. Has GloZell ever left a bad review on Yelp?
Have I ever left a bad review on Yelp? No, I haven't, because I really feel like if GloZell lives one, I don't want to shut a restaurant down. I'll shut somebody's business down because of my experience. And plus,
maybe they had a bad day.
But exactly. Now, there's some that I want to.
The only thing I've ever complained about and will still are airlines. And I know it's like useless. I fucking hate.
We need to fight against airlines as people. It is so degrading. Why is flying the most degrading experience in the world?
And my manager made a good point, because fuck you, American Airlines, all day long.
This podcast is not sponsored by American Airlines.
It's not.
Had a little trouble there, huh?
They had all this time where no one was flying to say, you know what a great opportunity to like look at some of our processes and inefficiencies and see if we can correct them. Nah. Nah. Just the indifference that people who work at an airport have. And I empathize with people who work at an airport because I'm sure they have to deal with a lot of like cranky people, but there's just a level of not my problem when it comes to.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah, and I get it, but like also like, ugh. Anyway, sorry.
That's funny. This is more for you. It's okay.
We know this answer, but we'll ask it anyways. And maybe the question is why? Does GloZell own healing crystals?
Oh gosh, I took off so many because I didn't want to look so crazy there in my purse. Like, yeah, and I'm like, these are few, but I have like, yes, I have a lot of healing, and I put them out for the moon. Like I'm that person. You know?
I mean, they look nice. I think I might have a crystal in the house, but I don't.
Like, I'm really getting into them. Yeah, I have hundreds. Yes, I'm a hoarder, so there you go.
Yeah, but why?
Just gets going.
Do you have
what?
What is it? What
Because it's like this one is for
they heal
positivity, and this one is to help you stay strong. Like I'm going through a divorce for 2 years. You know,
there's a placebo effect, maybe, which actually placebo effect is
but it works.
It's also something
because placebos work.
It's existed for a while, you know, like it's with stuff like that. Like I get that it's very different from like modern medicine or modern science, but like I think there's some wisdom in like the fact that a tradition has like carried on in humanity for so long. You know, it's like, can we say with certainty that they don't work?
Right, and they're pretty and they're from the earth.
Well, the mind's a powerful thing. And
it's like, but even if all the only thing they're doing
mushrooms
is
are natural,
your mind, then it's like, then they work. You know?
They work. They work for me. Like this one is the one that I always wear every day.
Let me see.
What stone is it?
It's nice. It looks nice.
Thank you. Yes. So it's green and it's a meteorite. It's one of those ones that after a meteorite landed, then you get one that you very famous on TikTok. You gotta get one of those, and so I got one. Okay. And there's a million more in my purse, but I got a moonstone. I got some couple of them. Okay, sorry.
No, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We could do a whole episode on crystals.
Hundreds of crystals.
Has GloZell ever spied on her neighbors?
Has GloZell ever spied on her neighbors? Yeah. They'll say yeah. Yeah, and they don't have to spy on me because they're like, why are the police always showing up at your house? I'm like, oh, goodness. But yes, I do. I be wanting to know what folks doing, yeah. And I'm from the South where, you know, you had a porch. That's what you do. You kind of drink your lemonade or your tea and you kind of look and see what's going on. I'm the woman. So I still carry that. I need to know what's going on. You know, what y'all smoking in there? What y'all doing? What is it? You know, yeah. How often you take out your trash? Because I'm out there all the time. I got to take stuff out all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Has GloZell ever been injured during sex?
Pass. My mama watched. Well, she
pass. Okay, we'll respect the pass.
I plead the pass. No, never. No. It's really easy when you're not having it with you know. So you can't get injured when somebody's sleeping in the other room. You know, there you go.
Does GloZell send out holiday cards every year?
Does GloZell send out holiday cards every year? I send out holiday like messages. Well, but my mom does, and I give her the address because she's traditional and comes through the mail. And I'm not that way.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Have I ever been cheated on? Not that let me take that back. How cheating are we going? I did. Okay, because my phone.
Like, what do you mean?
Okay, this is one of the stories.
We're in this room. You either cheated or you didn't.
This is gonna probably
cheating isn't nuanced.
My phone used to be my ex-husband's phone. Okay, so when it had some issues, and all of a sudden when they rebooted it, I had his Facebook and all this other stuff, and I was like, wait, who is these messages? Who is this? And I thought it was mine, and I'm like, oh, it was from women. And like, and they're going back and forth.
Emotionally
I love you.
Cheated.
Yeah. So there was
cheating.
no indication that they ever met up, but there was like, I love you and you love me and blah, blah, blah. And that helped me to 2 years later to
you were emotionally cheated on.
Yes. So I do. I count that.
In certain circles, we could just say that's worse.
Well, hey, it's 2 years. That happened about 4 years when I found that out. And I'm still like, aloha when I send a message. I'm like, aloha, because she lived in Hawaii.
Final question.
Mm-hmm.
Has GloZell ever peed on the side of the road?
I peed on myself. Okay. I peed on myself. Like, I just did not make it. I was actually on the show The Doctors because of like not being able to hold it. You know, that's probably why
you're
I can't
on
carry
the show?
a baby. Yeah. And I was on the show The Doctors because of like, you pee on yourself. Now you thought like this was gonna be a funny question. Like, no, I actually have problems.
I think you're Allie's
I got a
hero.
pad on right now, not because there's any bleeding going on, because I might pee on myself. That is true. Don't know how you want to check that, but that's true.
It's a good place to wrap.
That's what happens when you have somebody who tells everything.
GloZell, thank you so much for coming. It's been a real delight. can you let my audience know where they can follow you, any other projects you have coming up, where they can make sure they continue to enjoy your honesty?
Oh, gosh. Thank you so much. Follow me on all social media, GloZell. I will be at, of course, Arizona Pride. I have some NFTs coming out, which is exciting. So please follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, GloZell, because it is also going to say where my next appearances is going to be, conferences that I'm going to, and new projects that hopefully Monday get signed, and then I can tell you some bigger things. Thank you so much.
I'm buying my first NFT today, I think.
Oh, really? Awesome. I'm proud of you. What
I have a friend who like tells me what to do.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, well, GloZell.
Who I trust, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Good. It's a good investment.
We'll see.
Yes. All right.
Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K, for our Ask Nick episodes. We appreciate GloZell coming on. She's been great. She pees on herself.
She pees. She has a death grip on Obama and she pees on herself.
Yes. She's a hoarder and she pees on herself.
She won't let go while she pees. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back on Monday.
All right. Thank you.
You're crazy.
Hey guys, thanks for watching, but before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Monday's Ask Nick for your favorite relationship stories and advice, and our Tuesday Bachelor recaps. See you next time.